I seek only the glory of combat. Is anyone in this alliance worthy? Refuse me, and your world will end.
The Tsar are a race of rock monsters used by the Elder God Full as sentient tools in order to shape the geology of planets. They love combat, and they love capes, for some reason. Start with the fight caves, make it through 62 waves of enemies, and defeat Tuk Jad at the end, and win yourself a fire cape, even though it's clearly made of lava. Take that fire cape to Tukhar Hawk in the fight kiln, let him rip it in pieces as a sacrifice to prove you're worthy to stand against them. These primeval Tsar, called the Tukhar, will send 36 waves of enemies at you, including several empowered versions of Jad, culminating in a final fight against a lava kraken, Haraken. Succeed and claim one of 3 Tukhar Kal capes, one for each combat style. Finally, descend into the sewers of Sentistan, where a new form of Tsar has emerged. At the behest of the Elder God Full, many Tsar and Tukhar have returned to the heat of the Elder Kiln to be reformed into the Tsekhar, led by the demigod and ancient gladiator Tizkalzuk. Defeat the 17 waves Tizkalzuk sends your way, and finally best Tizkalzuk in combat himself to earn an igneous stone. Use this stone with one of your Tukhar Kal capes and transform it into its igneous version, a powerful cape with a unique effect based on the combat style of the cape. There are several checkpoints throughout the waves. If you fail, you don't start back at the beginning like previous Tsar challenges. But if you want that stone, you need to go from the beginning to the end in one shot. No banking, no dying, no running. Fight the waves and defeat Zook if you want the prize. I've killed Zook once before after several attempts, several deaths, and taking advantage of the several checkpoints on the way. So I wasn't going into this without any kind of experience. But I still wasn't sure how I was going to manage my supplies. How much food do I need to bring? How many restore potions, Saradomin brews, blubber jellyfish, how many overloads? All these questions I couldn't answer. What I did know was the gear I was going to go in with. I settled on the slow and steady safe method, turtling with magic tank gear and Animate Dead. For those unaware, Animate Dead reduces the damage you take by an amount that scales with your armor and defense level, but only if you're wearing magic tank armor. We'll be going in with some pieces of obsidian armor as well, boots and a helm. The obsidian armor has an innate damage reduction against Tsar and Tsar adjacent creatures, including the Tsekhar. They aren't classed as tank armor, so the boots don't contribute to Animate Dead's strength, but the helm is considered tank armor apparently. The helm also comes with a 10% accuracy boost against the Tsar and Tsar adjacent creatures, so it's pretty good. And obviously we'll bring the Tokkul Zo for a damage boost against the waves, and then we'll switch to a different ring when we fight Zook because it doesn't work against him. We'll also be bringing runes, a shield switch, all that standard stuff. I had a scrimshaw of elements in my bank for some reason, and I thought it'd be more useful than a Jas book. It wasn't. And I chose to use the Vampirism aura for extra healing. This is a marathon, not a sprint, so I wasn't at all concerned with killing everything super fast. The Tsekhar front is pretty straightforward. You fight through 3 waves, then deal with a special wave where you need to kill the special Tsekhar and absorb their igneous energy, which allows you to stun Zook and deal damage to him. If you deal 50,000 damage while he's stunned, you move on to his first challenge. If you fail to do 50,000 damage, then he maintains the damage he took, but he becomes immune again, so you have to repeat the special wave, stun him, and then do the rest of the damage you weren't able to do the first time. It's not too bad, the special waves are pretty easy anyway. Every special wave is a checkpoint, so if you do die at any point, you'll return to the most recent special wave you had completed. But if you want the Igneous Stone, you can't take advantage of those checkpoints. His first challenge after the first special wave is a DPS race. Kill as many of the volatile Tsekhar Her before they explode. Don't kill enough, and the explosion can kill you. Succeed, then you move on to waves 6, 7, and 8, wave 6 having a Tsekhar Jad, by the way, and deal with another special wave. Absorb the igneous energy, stun Zook, burn 50,000 of his health, and move on to his second challenge wave. Try to kill the unbreakable Tsekhar Ket before time runs out, but only attacks dealing 3,000 damage or more can hurt him. Fail and, well, it doesn't matter. You move on regardless. As long as you don't die, it doesn't affect your ability to get the Igneous Stone. You only have to worry about succeeding these waves if you want to unlock hard mode. After this challenge, you go to wave 11, which is a double Jad wave. Okay, we got 2 Jads now, I think. Yep, there he is. Oh my god. Oh no, I got them both attacking me now. So be careful. Waves 12 and 13 introduce Zekhar Ketzeks, which apply a stacking debuff that can get pretty dangerous if you ignore it for too long. Freedom clears it. Wave 14 is a special wave, kill the igneous mobs, stun Zook, so on and so forth. His third and final challenge wave is a bit dangerous, but as long as you cast Barricade before the first of the 3 monsters attack you, you should survive without issue. Wave 16 is a triple Jad wave. It's a bit hairy, but you can trap the Jads behind the room's geometry, so it's not so bad, but if you do it wrong, it can be kinda scary. Wave 17 is the penultimate wave, a fight against Zekhar Aken. It's like the fight killing Haraken, but he throws lava blobs at you occasionally. Moving around every now and then seems to work out well, I find. And he also takes reduced damage depending on how many tentacles he's got around the room. He's actually not that hard. The biggest thing you have to worry about is the bombardment, because it can do a lot of damage to you really fast and just take you from full to zero. It feels instant. Because the bombardment always makes an X shape, you can just run north, south, east, or west in a straight line and avoid it completely. And then you fight Zook. So the first attempt didn't go too well. The waves were pretty sloppy, and I ended up using way more supplies than I wanted to, leaving me struggling, and then I panicked and died. Oh my god. Oh, that's it. I'm screwed. Oh my, what should, aw. I was so close. But since there's a checkpoint right before him, I just went ahead and defeated him anyway, even though it wasn't going to get me the igneous stone. A little bit of practice before I try again. Okay. Also, loot. You still get loot, which is nice. I mean, even if you don't get the igneous stone, you get a bunch of loot on the way. Alright, so now the second attempt. I swapped my Ward of Subjugation as a shield switch to an Elder Rune Shield. It's a melee shield, so it would hurt my accuracy, but I'd only be using it as a switch for defensives, specifically for casting Barricade during one of Zook's challenge waves. Timed correctly with an Elder Rune Shield, you can protect yourself from all 4 hits during that phase. Makes things a touch safer. You see the tier of the shield affects how long the barricade lasts. Somebody in stream told me that, and it was good advice. I also grabbed the Fight Cauldron buff. Sacrifice some Tuckle to make the damage reduction of your obsidian armor just a touch better. Probably not super significant, but every little bit helps. Realizing I could get through all the waves within about 30 minutes, I brought fewer potions and more food. Why bring 12 overload doses when 6 is more than enough?
Or crawl and die.
Oof. Jeez, you just melted that one. What, did you have to hit a 3k for it to actually do damage? Oh, well, there we go. Uh-oh. Oh, Jesus. Dive over here. Hello. The guy just somersaulted 20 meters across the room. What is he?
It appears
Nice.
you have exceeded my expectations. Unleash Jad.
Oh, geez, I thought this was Haraken. I screwed up. I haven't died to Jad yet. It hasn't been Jad that's been killing me. He's been scaring me, but he hasn't been killing me yet. Prayer Torment? Oh, that's a good point. Can you get the pet from this Haraken? Oh, you can't. Well, thanks everybody for telling me. You all are just, yes. Repot everything because I'm stupid.
Break beneath me. The earth yields to me.
No panic. I'm already panicking, man.
Begone.
Yeah, did it. I remembered.
Break beneath me.
Gotta remember to breathe.
Seer.
One attack. 2 autos. 3 autos. And then drops a rock on my head.
Begone.
I didn't have my Jas book on. Alright, I'm not gonna freedom this yet, because he's gonna do that attack again. He's gonna do break beneath me again.
Break
See?
beneath me.
Now I do it.
Seer. Impossible.
Yeah. Nice. And we got an Onyx. Alright, let's get the ranged one now. Oh. Thank you, Evil Genesis.
Champion.
Man. I need a little bit to just like to shake out the yeah. I barely used any food for that. Look at that. See, that's the key, is just don't let him drop rocks on your head. So now we have the Igneous Cow Mage, an upgraded version of the Kiln Cape. What's so special about it? Well, not only are its stats a good deal better, but it comes with a unique effect that modifies the Omni Power ultimate ability. The ranged and melee versions of the cape alter Deadshot and Overpower respectively, but the details on those ones aren't too important right now. Without the cape, Omni Power is a standard ultimate. It costs 100% of your adrenaline and deals 200 to 400% ability damage, averaging 300%. Simple. With the cape, not only is the adrenaline cost reduced to 60%, but it turns Omni Power into 4 hits, each dealing 90 to 180% ability damage. The total damage ranges from 360 to 720%, averaging 540%. I don't need to explain why this is an upgrade. More damage for less adrenaline. There's an insidious little bonus here though, that might not be obvious at first blush. The fact that it splits the damage into multiple hits is incredibly significant. It allows you to skirt the hit cap. See, in my standard magic gear, my ability damage is 1932. No prayer, no potions, just as a baseline. 720% of that is almost 14k, so a high roll single hit max damage Omni Power would meet the hit cap, so it would only hit 10k. But a 180% ability damage hit does around 3500 damage. 4 of those totals to 14,000 damage, none of it eaten up due to the hit cap. And I think, but take this with a big grain of salt because I'm not totally sure, the hits each have their own chance to crit, which synergizes with crit benefiting effects like the extra adrenaline you gain from crits after casting Tsunami, or the auto attacks you get from the Fractured Staff of Armadyl spec. I tried it out in a few places and it's amazing. Yeah, I'm late to the party, but at least I got here. Alright, Omni Power, go. Go get him. Oh my god. It got me a new record at normal Carapax, so that's neat. Not much faster, but I think with some optimization I can reliably phase him before he starts hopping around the place. I should probably move on to hard mode, eventually. And here's a little thing I noticed. Zook Cape Strengthened Omni Power absolutely obliterates Camel Warriors. After you kill the first 3 Mirages, chuck an Omni Power at the original warrior and it just gets deleted. It's awesome. I love this cape. I'm so glad I got it. Everybody should get one. I can't speak its praises enough. It changes how the whole game feels, and Magic is just